Hey guys, welcome to the WTRLS video on magnetic compasses. We're going to discuss subtypes and features of this common compass, starting with a little bit of history. So the first compasses were made over 2,000 years ago from lodestone, a naturally magnetized stone of iron by the Han Dynasty in China, suspended so it could turn towards Earth's cardinal directions. This type of compass was known as the South Governor, and was used for geomancy, like aligning buildings for feng shui and fortune telling. At this time, navigation was primarily done by sighting landmarks and celestial bodies, but using visual methods were, as you can imagine, pretty difficult, especially in bad weather or when landmarks weren't in sight. So, the Chinese Song Dynasty adapted compasses for use in navigational devices between 850 and 1050 AD, it's thought, creating compasses with iron needles that were magnetized by striking them with a lodestone. The magnetic needles and compasses were known to have been brought to medieval Europe, possibly through Arabia, and documented the first time in 1190 AD by English theologian Alexander Neckham in his book De Naturis Rerum. Early compasses in China showed the four cardinal points, north, south, east, and west, and later these were subdivided into 24 points around a circle, then 32 equally spaced points, and the modern compass has 360 degrees. Military forces also use the milliradian, which is spaced into 6,400 units or mils for very precise measuring when they're trying to shoot long distances, like with our. There are two main types of compasses in use today, and we want to acknowledge them both. On the left, you'll see an example of a magnetic compass, which uses a magnetic element like a needle or a card to align itself with the lines of Earth's magnetic field, pointing towards the magnetic poles of the Earth, which we'll take a second here and just acknowledge that these poles do shift from time to time because of a phenomenon known as geomagnetic secular variation, or even based on local conditions. Most manufacturers balance their compass needles for use in one of 5 zones across the planet because of these local conditions. So this needle is mounted on a low friction pivot point, or at best a jewel bearing, that way it can turn easily. When held level, Earth's magnetic field exerts torque on the compass needle, and it begins to oscillate. As it oscillates, it's going to align itself, one end with the north magnetic pole and the other end with the south magnetic pole. And this is known as equilibrium orientation. Keep in mind that when you're using a magnetic compass, you need to take declination into account. Maps are made from these things known as projections, and map north can be different from magnetic north, and those two types of north are different from true north. One additional point, because of this shifting magnetism, you have to use the most current maps available. A map that's 10, 20, 30 years old will not have the same declination as a current map. Gyro compasses, another major type of compass that's used commonly today, feature electrically powered, rapidly spinning wheels that interact with and exploit the rotation of the Earth. Through rotation, the axis of the compass becomes parallel with the Earth's rotation, which causes the compass to point towards the Earth's true poles. The benefit of gyro compasses is they're not affected by ferromagnetic metals like iron, steel, cobalt, nickel, or various alloys. Since ships are mostly made of metal, gyro compasses are perfect for use at sea. Liquid compasses are fairly common compasses that have magnetized needles or a card immersed or suspended in fluid, that way it can freely move. Fluid types used in these can be lamp oil, mineral oil, white spirits, or even purified kerosene or ethyl alcohol, things that don't freeze. Suspending the card or needle in fluid minimizes excessive swing and wobble and reduces wear and actually improves readability. Key points on the compass, like the north end of the needle, they're often marked with phosphorescent, photoluminescent, or self-luminous materials to enable the user to read the compass at night. Another cool point is that since the liquid is non-compressible under pressure, most ordinary liquid-filled compasses are going to be able to operate underwater at pretty considerable depths. Another benefit of liquid-filled compasses is air-filled compasses, which are becoming less and less common. They can become inoperative or inaccurate during freezing temperatures or humid environments due to condensation and water ingress. One good point to take into account, though, that cheap compasses with bad bearings, they can get stuck or give you an inaccurate reading. So that little compass that's on your watch, maybe not the best one. So the card or marine compass has a needle that's fixed and a compass card that is mounted in fluid and rotates according to the magnetic pull. It's primarily used on boats because the card absorbs a lot of the motion of the boat, which makes it easier to read. When using these kinds of compasses, you have to be aware that acceleration and deceleration can increase or decrease the indicated heading because of the effect of gravity on the compass, especially compasses that are equipped with compensating magnets. So prismatic or lensatic magnetic compasses have a lid or a glass prism with a hairline. They're used to line up with an object when trying to get a bearing. The compass card or needle in these compasses is similar to other magnetic compasses. When the card stops, the required bearing is read off through the prism or lens. Like other compasses, these kinds of compasses can have a tritium or combination of phosphors to help read the compass at dark. Tritium specifically doesn't need to be recharged by light. It's a radioactive material, but not that that's unsafe. And you have to be aware that the illumination in tritium is going to fade over time. Tritium has a half-life of 12 years. So if you have a compass that has tritium that's several decades old, it's not going to be as bright as one that's brand new. Military forces typically use these types of compasses, and military-style compasses normally feature cards instead of needles and feature a deep well design that allows the compasses to be used globally in any of the 5 zones. The reason why that is that as you get closer to a pole, the needle or card is actually going to tilt up or down up to a maximum of about 8 degrees, which impairs accuracy. So these types of deep well designs help you overcome that. Hearing magnetic compasses or liquid-filled compasses with rectangular base plates, typically made of transparent plastic so that you can read a map through it. These compasses often have a lot of cool features like a magnifying lens, which you can see here, luminous markings on the bezel to help you see what's happening with your bezel at night, adjustable declination features, maybe a light for low light conditions, and a ruler or scale for measuring distances or plotting. There may even be inclinometers for measuring terrain gradients. The sport of orienteering has resulted in the development of compass models with extremely fast settling or stable needles that use rare earth magnets and make them better for use with a topographic map. This compass is a variant of the baseplate compass, but it's smaller and, as you can see here, attached to your thumb. It's really an awesome compass for a navigational technique known as terrain association. Solid-state magnetic compasses are typically found in electronic devices and are known as solid-state micro-electromagnetic systems, or MEMS. These devices have 2 or 3 magnetic field sensors that are used by a microprocessor. That computer interprets the data to figure out the orientation of the device relative to magnetic north, and then sends that interpretation to a display unit. These compasses are typically found in clocks, mobile phones, and tablets. You probably have one on you right now. You may be even watching with the device that you're watching on. These are pretty highly accurate due to their precise calibration regarding Earth's magnetic field. You're getting sometimes a triangulation of magnetism. That's pretty good. But you have to have a charged device to use them, so keep that in mind. So I want to thank you for watching the video. If you liked what you saw and learned something, like and subscribe that you get notified when new WTRLS videos publish. You can also follow us on Twitter at WTRLS1, and if you're in the Indianapolis area, check out www.wtrails for local workshop.